One of the high points of this year has been the launch of the MinEx CRC, and it is my great pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Andrew Bailey, the CEO of the MinEx Cooperative Research Centre. Andrew has multi-commodity geological experience and has worked to build and manage teams across exploration, geology, resource estimation, commercial dealings and mine technical support. Heading up this Cooperative Research Centre is a huge task, but there's no doubt that his managerial and technical knowledge is up to the job. Please welcome Andrew.
Thank you, Alex, and morning. The Mineral Exploration Cooperative Research Centre, the MinEx CRC, you may have heard about it. It's certainly on its way now, and I'll just give you a little bit of an oversight of some of the rationale and how it's building up, working and going ahead on this 10-year time frame that we've been given. And the easiest way to see the rationale is to look at a map of Australia, and on an image like this, the colours, the brighter colours, are areas of outcrop. The rest of the area, the greyed out areas, are areas of cover. Can be 1 metre to 1,000 metres, but they're undercover. We know the same outcrop rocks extend undercover from the geophysical images, and you can see those traces basically going from the coloured to the uncovered areas. And in these areas, if you overlay the red dots on that map, or the coloured dots, should I say, that is drilling in Australia in all areas. Those are open file drill holes, and there's about 700,000 of them easily available like that. And, clear as daylight, we drill where there's outcrop, because the programs in the 50s and 60s, the main survey programs were mapping. That then was followed by geophysics, where we know the rocks disappear undercover, and companies and surveys have all drilled in those areas where you start with known information and try and extend it out. And then you look at deposits in Australia. That's a map basically of all deposits coloured by commodity and size. And amazing, where there's outcrop, we look, it's easier to drill, and that's where the deposits are. And clearly in a lot of those areas, and Mount Isa in the central part's a good example. We know the rocks extend undercover, there's just been no discoveries in those areas. So the biggest challenge in Australia, where we know exploration spend has been decreasing over a number of years. We used to run at 12 to 15% of world spend. It's probably down to about 8% now of exploration spend, because of the challenge that we have of working undercover in more difficult terrains. So this mineral exploration cooperation is an attempt to tackle that problem over a prolonged period of time. And mineral research, cooperative research centres, and I'll touch on the size of them now, but in summary, it's aiming to more efficiently drill areas, drill holes in a way that industry would like it done, because industry ultimately is what drives exploration, which drives discovery and drives the economy, a significant part of our GDP. So basically it starts with, what does industry want to see in this field, and how are we going to change it? So the biggest call is more efficient drilling of holes, both in areas that we know already and areas undercover. We of course have to do that in a safe and environmentally better manner, and I'll call out exploration safety, because it's not as safe as it should be. There's certainly it's highly represented in accidents in exploration drilling, and that can be improved. Collecting this data, of course, is more than just drilling a hole. There's a whole lot of smarts behind it, everything from geophysics to sensing to processing. And then also doing it not just through industry, but seeing the 8 different surveys, including Geoscience Australia, who are all part of this cooperation, as industry in a way, because they are generating pre-competitive data, putting it out there, and that generates further exploration. So the surveys are also a key part of this collaboration. And to us, pure industry, the supporting METS sector, the mining and engineering and technology support and surveys, all fall in that same category of improving, ultimately, exploration rates and resources in Australia. And added, of course, with the education and training that comes with it and is necessary for students of the future, and for training in what is effectively a changing workforce and environment. So this collaboration is really a collaboration, as I said, between mining companies who would like more efficient drilling, exploration and data, the geological surveys who would like to need and want to put out more pre-competitive data which stimulates the exploration, and then the METS sector, those are effectively the manufacturers who support the industry and you can invent a widget, but if no one wants to build it and commercialize it, those are the METS sector. And then of course the research institutions that can do the work, that are able to do this long-term research. So that's the model of bringing those together, backed by funding, which is widespread. We've got a total of 35 participants who've signed up to this consortium at the moment, and it ranges through the big miners, the big supply companies, both Australian and overseas. You see companies like Sandvik and Epiroc, Atlas Copco, now known as Epiroc. We've got drilling companies, and of course the surveys and the Department of Industry who back the CRC program, and the research institutions further here. So there's about 35 participants that have come together to kickstart this. Now, this is a significant undertaking, and you'll see the significance on this graph, which is fairly busy, but it shows over time, from left to right, the cooperative research program in general, supported by the Australian government. It's been going since 1991, so nearly 30 years of different research phases. The total number of dots on that diagram are about 230, so there's been research in all sorts of things, from Antarctica to Northern Australia to pork and lamb and sheep and a lot of health. But the larger coloured dots are the ones that have been in the resource industry over this last 30 years of cooperative research programs and mining and resources. And you can see there haven't been too many of them recently. But on the top right, the blue dot is where the MinEx CRC has come in on government funding. So we've leveraged from the federal government $50 million over 10 years. They are putting in. It's a cash contribution. The companies you saw on the previous page have put in about $41 million in cash. The research institutions have put in a total of about 310 people. So that's a value of those people of about $70 million. And then that's all backed up with in-kind contributions, everything from data to drill rigs to processing capability. So this is about a $220 million research consortium over 10 years. So significant research. It is a long-term project, but it has to have short-term goals. We have to monitor it and make sure it's going, because the risk is that companies don't want to wait that long. So we have to have short-term goals, but over a long-term perspective. And in addition, this is then broken up into 9 very specific research components. So starting with drilling, both conventional drilling and coil tubing, and different techniques and improvements in that. And then there's a block of 4 projects on data, being downhole data, geophysics, seismics, and 3D modeling as well, so the data aspect of it. And then the third block is the National Drilling Initiative, where the surveys come together, apply the learnings from the improved drilling, apply the learnings from the data processing, and put it together in different areas of each state and territory, of both basically generating pre-competitive data and processing it in an improved manner to stimulate exploration and ultimately mining. So that's the concept of a cooperative research program, and we're underway. So basically we've got high-level 10 years goals to re-establish Australia as the preferred destination for exploration, to halt that decline both in discovery rates and exploration spend. It's supported by that MET sector who really is part of the job creation and carrying on exporting to the rest of the world our technology, processing, software, aspects like that, as well as the backup of the professionals both in training, and this will involve about 60 PhDs over that period, so a significant amount of PhDs and some masters, as well as the training of actually the proponents of things like drilling. So that's in a nutshell what the research centre is about, and I'm grateful for support of both South Australia, Western Australia. We're dual headquartered between the two, all the surveys and then industry who've stumped up for this, and we're on our way. Thank you.